Regan's Corner Sports Network. We got a special guest, two-star sport, Jordan Boyd. Jordan, how's it going and how's it popping?
It's going really good. Both sports seasons are starting off really well.
Okay, so Jordan, what are some aspects that makes a really good volleyball player?
I would say confidence in yourself, especially as a setter. You're running the entire court. So communication and thinking two steps ahead, definitely having like analytical planning. Those are all like really big.
Okay, so how did your volleyball career start?
I started in seventh grade and we played a few games on the middle school team. And then COVID in eighth grade, I didn't play. And then my freshman year, I was on JV and I had a really fun time like learning how to play because that was really like my first season of volleyball as a freshman. And my sophomore year, I made varsity. I had an amazing coach. My coach Nikki, she is she was a setter herself in college, so she taught me everything I know about being a setter, and I was able to progress the next 3 years, including this season, into like where I'm at right now.
So, what is your favorite aspect of playing volleyball and kind of setting up your teammates?
I would say since I play a position that helps others like be successful when like I'm not the one getting the kill, but setting them up to get the kill. I feel like communicating with my hitters and giving them what they want and like being able to like make that adjustment, it's that much better when you are because then they're able to get the kill and it's just like fun celebrating it. Like I would say setting them up to get a kill is the best part for me.
So, what's the time management like with playing travel softball and also with your high school season well underway with volleyball?
The fall is definitely the most stressful part of the year as far as that goes, for as far as like managing school with the other two sports as well because I want to get the best grades as possible. But I would say it's going pretty well. I'm happy with how everything's going, and it's honestly not too stressful because I've been doing it for like 3 or 4 years. So at this point, I kind of know how to manage it.
So, is that kind of a good kind of indication? So, when you are at St. Louis, you can kind of adjust a little bit easier because you've gone through a hard schedule with playing multiple sports and also with kind of having uh, college like studies now in high school. Does that kind of benefit you for next year in your freshman year?
Yeah, I think kind of exactly like having a harder schedule now and having to manage so many things because I'm also in National Honor Society. I'm the president of that club, so like setting stuff up for that is pretty hard to like manage all the practices and club meetings and like studying for tests. I would say that it's pretty difficult to like manage it to a T, but it definitely puts me in a great position for next year at St.
So, what are some indications that allowed you in your recruitment process to end up at St. Louis?
So I've been with Fast Pitch for the past two full seasons, and I'm starting my third with them now. And that was the highest level of softball I had played up until that point my sophomore year. And I really hadn't done anything recruiting wise up until the summer going into my sophomore year, where I started sending emails to coaches, and I honestly didn't get any real communication back and forth with the coach until University of Indianapolis, where I had contact with them for about a year, and until this past July of my recruitment process, I met Coach Knoyer and Coach Max at a tournament for July 4th in Indianapolis where they got to come and see one of my teammates play. They were there for her, but I had done well at the game, and they reached out to my coach, who they knew through something, and came out to a camp for their school. And then after that, the coaching staff, Coach Kenora was able to come to 3 games and following after the camp, and she basically reached out a few weeks later, and I was able to talk with her over the phone to set up the visit, and that's when I was offered.
Absolutely, because we talked a little bit off air about that small town feel with Highland, uh, with kind of a big school kind of conference. So, what's kind of the transition that you're going to feel like you're going to have in your freshman year since you've gone through a hard schedule for volleyball and for uh, softball with having a tough conference that you're in?
I think that because I've been used to like challenges, like time management things, that going to a bigger school, it might be a little bit um, it might be a little bit intimidating because I've been at a small school all my life, but I've like seen the campus and it was like absolutely cool, and I just know that I'm going to love it there, and I love my coaches and meeting some of the teammates I'll have like as well on the team. Like I just know that the people there will make the school just how people at Highland make the school for me.
For sure. So, what are some things are you looking to study next year?
I have been decided on this for about like a year and a half, 2 years, but I'm looking to get into the accelerated physical therapy program. I would love to be a physical therapist. That's like been a big dream of mine.
Nice. So, what are some keys for your volleyball season this year to reach your team goals?
So we've had some team goals set of a 90% serving percentage. Um, we want to make it to the sectional championship, and we wanted to have 10 wins this season, which I know 10 wins doesn't seem like a lot, but when we compare our record to past seasons, we just really wanted to like focus on actually putting everything together and having the best possible record season that we could have for my senior year, alike with a lot of seniors. And I feel like some of the big keys to that is really having a lot of communication with the entire team about what they need on and off the court to like be the most successful. Like individually, our coaches have even done a really great job of this, of like making sure every player has like exactly what they need to be successful.
For sure. Let's go. Because that's a lot of good goals there, 90%. And then with how do you know kind of how to set your teammate up with kind of a kill on what the defense is currently doing?
So it definitely changes game per game because you could have a shorter blocker one day and then the next day your blocker is 6'5" and can't set them up on that side. But we did a really great job, I feel like, this past week adjusting from Hobart, where we won a conference match with a lot of shorter hitters, a team similar to ours because we're a very short but fast and smart team with our plays, going to Chesterton, where their front row is pretty much all 6 foot tall. It was a big adjustment, but I feel like seeing open spots on the court and being able to point out the weaker parts of their hitters and their team was a big part of our success because we didn't end up taking a set at Chesterton, but our goal was to get above 15 each set, and we almost beat that. We did beat it on one. We lost 25-20 in one of the sets, which is pretty crazy for us. Our goal was only 15, but we were able to pass it because we trust each other to find open spots on the court.
For sure. So, with the undersized team, and you just talked about with Chesterton's front court being almost 6 foot even. Um, so, what do you do kind of in your scouting reports when you see a hitter like Luca or Tenley that you're going to be going against?
When we watch some of their highlights, or we'll watch some things on Huddle since we have that this year, we definitely try and see when they're playing their teams like spots that they would like normally go for, where they would like, I don't know, frequently go to. I mean, it changes game per game depending on your blocker and how the setter's doing, because a setter could keep you in or out. But if the setter is able to push the antenna, they have line, they have cross, they have roll, tip, everything. So it was definitely a big thing to see that they were one of the first teams that would swing line on us, because when you have a taller hitter, they're able to go line. That was one of the bigger things, because we weren't able to like cheat necessarily either way to be expectant of like a certain spot. We had to be ready for it, which was something that the huddle showed us.
Absolutely. So, how did you start in the game of softball?
I started when I was about 5 or 6, like just around the corner from my house at Meadows, which is like the in town softball park for Highland girls softball, just like for my town.
So, when did you start kind of going through AU? Because we talked about that a little bit earlier with the time management, but when did you kind of start with the AU seasons?
With softball.
Mm-hmm.
With softball, I got on my first travel team in 6th grade. I would say I was about 11. And I wasn't able to play the year after that because of COVID. We had like a little like Highland travel team, but I wouldn't necessarily like, it wasn't comparable to like competition that we played like in 6th grade. So I kind of really got back into it and like never stopped from like 8th grade.
Okay. So, coming into this year for softball, what are some goals that you guys have, and what are some kind of keys to reach those goals?
So this year we haven't really had like a call out meeting or anything, but I already know going into it, because I've talked with a lot of my friends. A good portion of the softball team, we all have like Spanish class together, and we've been talking about it after seeing that the sectional changed to different teams like than the past 3 years that we've been here. We want to win sectionals this year, and that is our biggest goal. And I think it's so achievable with like the close knit group of girls that we have. Like, these are some of my best friends, and like I actually cannot wait for the season at all.
For sure. So, who are you marking down on that calendar for softball season?
I think like big games.
Big games, for sure.
I mean, there's no specific team, but definitely sectionals is going to be huge for us. I don't think that there's any specific team where I could say like we need, this is a huge huge game, but I definitely love starting off the season with Hebron, because I feel like they're a pretty evenly matched team with us. So when we were able to take that game last year to like set the tone for the season, I felt like that was really big when we were able to do that. So I would hope to do that again. Um, I would say, obviously, I mean, I feel like anyone's goal is to have a good conference record, but if we could take more conference games and have a better record this season, that would be really great. And I feel like I'm just already so excited. Not for like, I'm not already like bypassing the regular season, but like that sectionals and postseason, I feel like we can make it pretty far.
For sure. So, kind of moving towards the easier postseason with sectionals, who do you kind of see as the biggest opponent from that sectional championship that's kind of been on the cusp of you guys in Highland?
So off the top of my head, I don't remember every team, but I'm pretty sure you have Calumet, River Forest, and Griffith and Bishop Knoll as the teams. I might be missing one, but I think our biggest competition of all those teams is Bishop Knoll. And when we played them last year, we did slaughter them. So I'm not looking over any teams, and I think they're still good competition. I've played with some girls on that team, and they're still a very hardworking team, and I'm just excited to see how we do in postseason.
For sure. So, we're going to move to our last segment here. at Regan's Corner, the hot corner. No puns intended here, as we get to know you a little bit more, Jordan. So, okay, what is the go-to fast food place?
For me, I don't really know. Maybe I like Panda Express.
Solid. So, what is your go-to like streaming TV show that you kind of on a self-care kind of thing when you have time, when you it sounds like you don't have a lot of time usually, but like when you have time, what do you stream?
I like Grey's Anatomy.
Nice, nice. Okay, so what is your walk-up song?
Okay, so I've chosen a different one each year for softball for high school because that's the only time I've ever had one. But I can't remember what I had last year. I honestly just pick like the intro to a rap song where there's no words. Um, but I hope I pick something more meaningful for my senior year this year. That's like actually like fun.
Okay, solid. So if you did not get offered by St. Louis, what would your top three schools be?
For softball or just academics?
So for softballs, academics, for volleyball as well.
Um, I definitely loved the University of Indianapolis when I went and visited that school. I also met with the softball coaches, but just like their program was really nice, so I liked that school. And I liked Grand Valley State in Michigan. And I don't know, I never really tried to have too many goal schools because I knew that once I found that one, like that perfect fit for softball, that like I would love that one. And St. Louis is kind of it for me. So I would say University of Indy, Grand Valley State, and I definitely liked the Lewis coaching staff for softball too. I like talking to them, so I never got to visit their school, but they were definitely up there.
Okay. There's a lot of around the area of kids going to Lewis. Uh, we nicknamed when we were at Hebron last year, Trevor Roy, the Don. The Don's going up there. Murrett as well from Boone Grove. So there's a lot of athletes that love that university. St. Louis, that's a very good pick. A very Power Five, or not Power Five, but still very good university in Division One. So great choice on that. So what is some of your superstitions before hitting the court or the field?
I wouldn't necessarily have this position, but I always pray before every game. I talk to God and ask Him for His guidance in the game so that I can give Him all the honor and glory with whatever I'm able to do in that game. And that if I'm ever struggling, that I look at Him. And I will say that after I have gotten closer to God and grown in my faith, that I've honestly seen more success because I'm able to just relieve all of the stress and anxiety when I'm playing, when I'm giving stuff to Him, and He's allowing me to do better and play better.
For sure. So kind of going through, um, but also that's a great kind of thing to do and kind of nice little self care to kind of before a game and kind of go through all the all the triumphs and things you're going to go through during a sporting event. So, what are some self care things that you kind of do while you're time managing the two sports?
I do like to, I consider self care, but I do like to listen to music. And I don't know if I'd call it self care, but I definitely I read my Bible daily and get into the Word. So that helps me.
Okay. So, what's your favorite position on softball field?
I love first base. I've always loved first. I know that this past year for high school, I played, and it was really fun learning a new position. And I got advice from Coach Mack, my softball coach, one of the best coaches I've had in the infield, to really show me how I'm supposed to do it and what's supposed to be done. But I love first base more than anything.
Okay, solid. So you're always welcome here on Regan's Corner Sports Network. And also, if you in your university want to go into our NIL program, you're more than welcome. I already got kind of a few ideas for brands next year. I can't really tell you that right now because of the eligibility thing. But nonetheless, you're always welcome here at Regan's Corner Sports Network.
Thank you.
You're welcome.